Now it's come to my attention that I've never really told the full story of how I got started in this industry. And a lot of you may know me as a coach, a lot of you may know me as a mentor, a lot of you may know me as someone who's got it all figured out in this industry. And while I can really proudly say at this point in my time in the remote cleaning industry, I've got a lot of it figured out, and I've had the pleasure of helping over 100 students crush it and start and scale and build fulfilling home service businesses with the exact model that I've used. I can't say the same thing about the position that I was in even just 9 months ago. Now, I actually found content scrolling on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, same thing that you're doing right now. I found a video, probably one similar to this one, and was immediately my interest was piqued. I was listening to, at the time, Jon, now one of my partners, talk about the value of starting and scaling a remote home service business and why he felt like there was such a big gap in the market to be capitalized on. And at first, I didn't think much of it. I thought, interesting business model. Who knows? This is just some guy trying to sell me something. I'm not really interested. And then I decided, you know what? I'll keep tabs and I'll see how this plays out. And so I did just that. Now, fast forward 4-6 weeks into the future from there, and I am finding myself getting this content on my page over and over again, because every time it pops up, I'm watching it, I'm clearly interested, and I know in my heart that there is something here. But at this point, my question is, okay, if I wanted to get started with this, what does that look like? What do I have to do? Is it even feasible for me? Do I have the money? Do I have the time? Do I have the skills? And so naturally, I just reached out and I contacted Jon and I said, Jon, is this something that I can do with my skill set, with my income level, with my savings? Is this something that I can do with the amount of time that I have available? And we got on a call, we talked about it, and he told me, absolutely you can. It's gonna cost you a few $1,000 to get it all started up and to have me help you do it in a way that's gonna save you time, save you headache, save you all the struggles that you're gonna go through if you just try to figure it out on your own. And it's gonna take you 10 to 15 hours a week of your time to start it and then run it once it's up. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm interested, but a few $1,000s, I don't know if I wanna spend that. I really was kind of hesitant about the fact that I didn't know this guy. And unfortunately on the internet, a lot of this stuff is all smoke and mirrors. Thankfully, I decided I should just see it through. It was a decent chunk of money, but it was not enough where I felt like it was gonna set me back forever if it didn't work out. And after watching the breakdown of how much money went into running the business and how much money could be made in the business in a short period of time, I felt confident that even if this didn't become something that was making me thousands of dollars and retiring me, I still felt very strongly that this would be something that could at least pay for itself, and the skills that I would gather from it would be very useful for any future business endeavor, because I knew all along that I wanted to be a business owner, not an employee. So I just said, all right, let's just do it. Let's pull the Band-Aid off, let's give it a try. Now that was the end of October of 2023. And at that point in time, I was like, let's do it. Let me get the funds together and let me get in this group. And Jon gave me a sense of urgency. He said, hey, here's the situation. I'm not trying to, fake scare you. I'm not trying to fearmonger you, but we are going to be raising the price of the program. The price of the program is going to go up. It's scheduled to go up like clockwork at the beginning of every month because of the growth and the success that we're having. So if you want to make this happen, let's make it happen now. And so I decided on that day I was going to commit to doing this, and I was going to make it happen. I was going to get the funds together and get in the group before the end of October. So I made my deposit, I made my down payment to get into the group. And then from there, on November 6th, I had my onboarding call. I actually was started fully in the group, and the rest of the story only gets crazier. After November 6th, when I got onboarded, it took me 2 weeks to get everything set up. I was constantly calling Jon and his business partner, who I then was working with, Mark. They were my 2 mentors at the time. And I mean, I called on them all the time, always messaging them in the VIP chat, always trying to extract as much information and knowledge as I could from them, because I knew that that's what I had paid for. I had paid for a one-on-one coaching. I had paid for all this instruction and all this help, and I was going to get all of that value, and they happily gave it to me. Every time I reached out, they had answers. They were available, in a reasonable time period, and they truly helped me get my business up and going in like 14 days to my first clean actually happening. Cleaners hired, ads running, etc. December was then my first real full month running my business, and I immediately did over $9,200 in total revenue in my first month in December with zero experience and just the help of these 2 people and the Drop Service Academy course and program. Then by the second week of January, just 6 weeks into really starting my business, maybe 7, I was already fully in the black. I was already completely paid off on my initial investment, plus anything else I invested, in ad spend and things throughout the life of the business. I was in profitability in less than 2 months, and from there, the rest has been history. The following months, in February, I had my first 10K month. In March, my first 15th. In April, my first 20th. I think in April, actually, my first $30,000 month. In May, my first $40,000+ month. And now here I am speaking to you in the middle of June, running my business just an hour or 2 a day, and on the same track as I was on in May, just with even less work. Now, at some point along there in that March to April time period, I was asked by Jon and Mark to come on and help coach and help lead the next generation of students. At that time, I was working just kind of as a success manager, helping students with specific problems, coaching one-on-one, things like that, and then eventually transitioned into a full-blown partner. And now at this point, I'm a full-blown partner in the Drop Service Academy, and I can honestly give you the vantage point of someone who went through the program and it actually changed their life, and they actually 5x plus their income on a monthly basis, created a revenue stream that makes them a shit ton of money, and they don't have to work that hard for it on the day-to-day basis. And even more so, I am proud now of the dozens of students that have come behind me since I went through it, that I have helped actually teach and mentor and grow into successful business owners. And even the most proud still, I am excited for the next 500 students, the next 200 students to come through the Drop Service Academy I will be able to directly help and share my experience, and Jon and Mark and our next batch of coaches as we continue to grow out this team and add more expertise, more value, and just more success for our students and for everyone that wants to venture in this business model, until we are undoubtedly the only place that people will go to start drop servicing or remote home service business, because our curriculum, the quality of our coaches, and the quality of the one-on-one and small group attention that you receive is unmatched by anyone else in this niche. And now in the next chapter of Drop Service Academy, we're actually going to be launching our first ever live free class. It's going to be June 30th. The link to this free webinar is actually going to be in the description of this video. If you want to come, tune in. You'll hear from myself. You'll hear from Jon, the person who mentored me. And you're going to hear all about how this model works, why we believe in it so strongly, and how you can get started for free on that webinar in less than 90 minutes of your time. If you've ever been interested in starting a business up, if you've ever watched my content and felt a pull to do it, let this be the sign that this free class is the best first step you can possibly take. And before you come to the free class, make sure you have watched my playlist here, my free mini course. I'll actually put it right up here on the screen for you. Make sure you've watched that so you come to the webinar prepared. And I promise you, you are going to get some massive, massive value from that live free class. And who knows, that live class might be the start of your life-changing entrepreneurial journey in the same way that a video like this was for me.